GBNews does a regular people's poll, and today shows that Labour on 47%, which, you know, that might be expected. But the worrying thing is the Conservatives are down at 20%, and the Reform Party is at 9%. I mean, is there any way back for the Conservative Party from these sort of polling figures?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's always a way back, and there's still up to 2 years until a general election. I think it's not surprising that the party has taken the beating it has in the polls this year after everything that's happened. It's the year of 3 prime ministers, but it's also the year of the energy crunch and the resulting squeeze. They've set out a plan for the economy in the autumn statement. That's going to take a while to realise. But now I think they've really got to set out their stall in other issues, and top of the list, I think, is getting things right again in the immigration system, both getting legal migration down, but also fixing the problem in the Channel.
Yeah, I mean, you produced your report for the CPS a few days ago. According to our viewers, that's certainly one of the most important things that they always raise, is about the sort of channel crossings and all the rest of it.
So many things lead off from that, don't they?
I just wondered, though, with the report, I mean, the things that were in there, you know, detention of all asylum seekers, getting the Rwanda policy going again, sorting out the human rights legislation. I mean, I suppose the question is, will these things get through the courts? Will the courts allow all of those things that you put in your report to happen?
Yeah, so what we said in the report, we actually had 41 recommendations, quite detailed, lots of quite meaty things like the introduction of ID cards and reform to the Modern Slavery Act. But actually at the heart of the report was a kind of proposition where we want to turn the immigration system on its head. So we want to create resettlement routes for people to come here legally and safely, capped, we think, in a normal year at 20,000. But alongside that, we want a policy that says if you arrive in the country illegally, and it is possible, despite what people deny, to say that people arrive here illegally, so it's a criminal offence to do that. If you arrive here illegally, then you will be detained immediately, and then very quickly you'll be given a choice between going back to your home country if you think it's safe, or going to Rwanda, or a country like Rwanda where we might have a similar kind of deal for your asylum claim to be processed there. But to do that, we think you definitely need to change human rights laws, and you might ultimately need to come out of the European Convention on Human Rights.
I think our viewers would agree with that. If you arrive here illegally, it is a criminal offence, and therefore you should be dealt with it that way.
And so, Andrew, do you think that there's a way back for the Conservatives from these polling figures? And if so, do you think Nick's onto something by saying that sorting out these channel crossings may be one of the routes back for the Conservative Party?
Yep, I say yes and yes to that. I think we shouldn't forget that not much more than a year ago, Labour were 10 points behind in the polls. There was talk about getting rid of Keir Starmer. And the electorate is volatile. Things can change quite quickly. What we have now is a period of stability and professional government, and I think that will start to be felt in the polls.
What about these figures for reform, though? I mean, 9% in the polls. There's certainly a feeling amongst many people that the government is leaving its sort of right flank open, and that the Reform Party are in there, and unless the Conservatives can win those people back again, they can't win an election. Is that a fair analysis?
The test of that, as Nick said, will be in how they deal with illegal immigration.